So today, we're going to map out the entire life cycle of a central government employee in India. I mean, from the moment they get in to the day they retire, pretty much every single step is guided by this really detailed, really structured set of rules.
And that brings up a big question, right? Is a government job the ultimate dream career with all that security? Or is it more like a pair of golden handcuffs, trading a bit of freedom for a whole lot of stability? Well, to figure that out, we really have to dive into the official playbook that runs the whole show.
Okay, let's start right at the beginning. Section 1, Getting In. Now, you might think it's all about just passing an exam, but nope, that is just the very first step in a pretty long process. The whole thing is designed to create a career public servant.
Yeah, the path to becoming a permanent government employee is kind of like a four-step gauntlet. It kicks off with those super competitive exams, but that's just the first hurdle. After that, you've got a probation period, then mandatory training, and only after all that do you get your service officially confirmed. You can think of each step as a filter, making sure only the most suitable people get through.
Let's zoom in on that probation period for a second. The best way to think about it? It's basically the final, super long job interview. It's this critical time where your performance, your conduct, everything is put under a microscope. It's really the government's last chance to be absolutely positive they've made the right call before they grant you that famous job security.
All right, so you're in. You're official. And that's when a whole new world of rules just opens up. Which brings us to Section 2, the Rule Book. This is essentially the strict moral and ethical compass that every single employee has to follow.
And these conduct rules are incredibly specific. They pretty much divide everything you do into two big buckets. On one side, you have things that just need permission, like buying property or maybe running a little side business. But on the other side, you've got things that are absolutely forbidden, like getting involved in politics or accepting a dowry. The main takeaway here is that this code doesn't just govern your life at work, it governs your private life too.
Of course, following all these strict rules definitely comes with its rewards, and that leads us to Section 3, Pay and Perks. Let's be honest, this is probably the biggest reason so many people want these jobs, the stability and that benefits package.
So a government salary isn't just one number. Your basic pay is really just the starting point. On top of that, you get these key additions like Dearness Allowance, or DA, which helps you keep up with inflation, and House Rental Allowance, HRA, if you don't get government housing. It's a whole package designed to cover all of life's major expenses.
And the benefits go way beyond the paycheck, especially when you look at leave. The system gives you a ton of earned leave that you can save up over time, really generous maternity leave, and even dedicated childcare leave. The whole structure is just built for long-term employee welfare.
And believe me, the list just keeps going. There's the Leave Travel Concession, which helps families travel around India, the central government health scheme for medical care, and then you have things like the Provident Fund and house building advances for long-term financial security. It's truly designed to be a cradle-to-grave kind of support system.
So you're in, you're following the rules, you're getting paid. But what about growth? What about moving up? Well, that brings us to Section 4, Climbing the Ladder. And, no surprise, career progression is also a very, very structured affair.
A typical career path is, you guessed it, incredibly predictable. Right from year one, your performance is tracked in what are called annual performance assessment reports. After a number of years, a promotion committee looks at all those reports. But here's the thing. Even if promotions are slow, there's a safety net. It's called the MACP scheme, and it gives you automatic financial upgrades at the 10, 20, and 30-year marks. So the growth might be slow, for sure, but it is almost always steady.
Every career journey, of course, has an end. And in government service, that final chapter is just as structured as the beginning. So let's take a look at Section 5, Retirement.
Now let's get into one of the most hotly debated topics out there, the pension system. There are really two big frameworks. For anyone who joined before 2004, you had the old pension scheme. It was a defined benefit system, which basically meant you got a guaranteed pension, usually 50% of your last salary, and it was all funded by the government. Now, for everyone who joined after that, there's the National Pension System, or NPS. This is a defined contribution system. Both you and the government contribute to a fund, and your final pension totally depends on how that fund performs in the market. The really crucial difference here is the shift from a guaranteed risk-free benefit to one that's tied to the market.
But retirement isn't just about that monthly pension. Employees also get two other big payouts. First, a gratuity, which is a big lump sum payment based on how many years you worked. And second, leave encashment, which basically turns all your unused vacation days into a final cash bonus. It's all designed to make sure you have a comfortable life after you've finished your service.
So there you have it. We've gone from recruitment all the way to retirement. A life that is completely defined by rules, regulations, and a very predictable path. And this brings us right back to that question we started with. Does a framework this structured provide the ultimate security and welfare for a person? Or does it maybe limit individual initiative and potential? That really is the central question to think about when it comes to this very unique career path.